Let me tell y'all something today, and listen real close, ladies, because I'm about to give you the game. See, every man, whether he tells you or not, whether he's rich or broke, smooth or awkward, he's testing you. Oh yeah. There is a secret test we men use, and guess what? Most women fail it. We test you. We ain't always upfront about it, and we may not even do it on purpose all the time, but trust and believe, we're watching. From the first date, from that first conversation, from the first time you answer that text, we are observing. And one of the biggest things we're trying to figure out, even if we can't put it into words, is this: do you respect yourself enough to make me respect you? That's the real test right there. See, men are wired a certain way. We respect structure. We respect strength. We respect boundaries. And if you ain't got those, you just became a playground. Not a partner, not a queen, a playground. And what do people do at playgrounds? They play. A man will test you early just to see how far he can go. It's not always malicious, but it's real. We'll throw a slick comment at you to see if you laugh it off or check it. We'll show up late just to see if you call it out. We'll ghost you for a day or two and then pop back in like nothing happened just to see if you're still available. That ain't right, but it's the truth. Now, here's the part that hurts. A lot of women fail this test because they're afraid of being alone. They think calling out disrespect will make him leave. So they bite their tongue, they stay quiet, they let stuff slide. And what does that teach the man? It teaches him that you don't respect yourself enough to demand better. That you'd rather have a piece of a man than risk not having one at all. That's when the trouble starts. Because once a man sees you'll let things go, you've basically told him he can get away with it. You think you're being chill, being cool, giving grace, but from his end, it just looks like weakness. It looks like you don't know your value. Let me tell you what a woman who passes respect tests looks like to a man. She's a force. She's not rude, she's not loud, but she is clear from the jump. She tells you how she expects to be treated, and then she backs it up. She doesn't just talk respect, she lives it. If you show up late, she doesn't pretend it's okay. She says, I value my time. If you try to get physical before the emotional foundation is there, she doesn't just go along with it to keep you around. She says, that's not what I'm looking for. That kind of woman, you might not like hearing no from her, but you respect her, and the more you respect her, the more careful you become with her. You treat her like a prize because that's how she carries herself. See, women think men fall in love with beauty. We don't. We fall in love with standards, with consistency, with how a woman makes us level up. If you're just giving in, constantly being flexible, constantly letting things slide, you're not inspiring him, you're enabling him. And the moment a man realizes he can walk all over you and you'll still stay, that's when the respect disappears. And baby, when respect goes, everything else falls apart. I've heard women say, but if I say something, he'll think I'm too much, too aggressive, too picky. Let me tell you something, the right man will never be scared of your standards. A grown man, a real man, wants a woman who holds him accountable. You don't have to be mean, but you do have to be firm. That's what makes a man step up. That's what makes a man choose you over everyone else. It ain't how good you look, it's how good you hold your line. Let me make this plain. How a man treats you is your responsibility just as much as his. Because the treatment you allow sets the standard for what continues. A man doesn't just walk in the door disrespecting you, you teach him what's acceptable. Every time you accept an apology without changed behavior, every time you take him back with no consequences, every time you answer that phone after he's ghosted for days, you're teaching him how to treat you. You say, you can mess up, and I'll still be here. You're saying, I don't believe I can do better. And once he knows that, game over. The craziest part is, some of y'all know it's wrong while it's happening. You feel it in your gut. That little voice says, he's playing you, but instead of acting on it, you silence the voice. You make excuses. He's just busy. He's been through a lot. I'm not perfect either. You start settling, and here's the dangerous thing about settling. The longer you do it, the harder it becomes to walk away. You start losing yourself, and before you know it, you're in a one-sided relationship, giving your all to someone who doesn't even give you half. You want to pass the test? You got to respect yourself enough to walk away from anything that doesn't serve you, grow you, or honor you. You got to believe that being alone is better than being disrespected. You got to know that the man God has for you won't need to be begged, babysat, or broken in. He'll see your worth and match it. But he can only do that if you see it first. Let me break something down that a lot of women don't want to hear but need to, because it's costing you your time, your peace, and your heart. There is a test that almost every man runs, and most women don't even realize it's happening. We don't announce it, we don't write it down, but we're watching. And that test is this: how much of a relationship can I get from you without giving you an actual relationship? That's the game right there. And I'm telling you, most women fail that test because they confuse connection with commitment. Y'all start doing all the girlfriend stuff, all the wifey things, without even having a clear conversation about what this is. He calls you every night, that's not commitment. He sleeps over, still not commitment. He posts you on social media, still doesn't mean he's claiming you. He could be doing all that just to keep you comfortable while he's getting everything he wants with none of the responsibility. Now look, I'm not saying every man is out here trying to play you, but I am saying that if you don't set the standard early, most men will go as far as you let them. Because here's what you need to understand. A man will take whatever you give, not because he's evil, but because it's convenient. You're cooking for him, sleeping with him, giving him your time, sharing your body, opening your emotions. And he never had to earn that. He didn't have to step up. He didn't have to clarify his intentions. He didn't even have to commit. And you want to know the worst part? The more you give without asking for anything in return, the more he devalues it. That's the part y'all don't realize. See, when something comes easy, we don't treat it like it's special. It becomes routine. It becomes background noise. You could be the most amazing woman on earth, but if you give it all away too soon, you become the entertainment, not the investment. And then you're left sitting there wondering, why won't he commit? Why does he keep saying he's not ready? Why does he act like he loves me but won't make it official? Because, baby, you gave him everything without requiring the title. He don't need to upgrade. He's already living in the penthouse. You gave them the access code, the key, the whole damn floor plan. So what's his motivation to change anything? And I know some of y'all are saying, but Steve, I'm just being nice. I'm just showing him my care. That's beautiful. But care should never come at the cost of clarity. You can be kind but still have boundaries. You can love someone but still expect structure. Because here's the truth. Love without boundaries leads to confusion and pain. And if you're honest with yourself, a lot of you are loving men who haven't even decided if they want to keep you. I'm not saying you got to play games. I'm not saying be cold. I'm saying value your time and your presence enough to require clarity. If a man tells you, let's just go with the flow, let me translate that. It means he's not ready to lead. And if he's not ready to lead, then what exactly are you following? You think the flow leads to marriage? You think, let's see where this goes, ends in a ring? Nah, it ends in you sitting there 3 years deep with no progress and him saying, I never said I was ready for all that. And I know why some of y'all accept it. You're afraid if you push too hard, he'll leave. You think asking for commitment too soon makes you look needy. You think if you're just patient and keep showing up, he'll eventually realize how good he has it. But here's the cold truth. If a man can get the benefits without the commitment, he has no incentive to change the situation. He's comfortable. And as long as you don't require more, he's not going to offer more. You don't have to wait 3 months, 6 months, or a year to know what you want. And if you do know, speak it. Say, I don't do situationships. I don't do gray areas. If this is just casual for you, cool. But I'm looking for something real. Say it early, say it clearly, say it without fear. Because here's the beautiful thing. When you know your value and you stand on it, the right man will either rise to meet it or walk away. And if he walks, let him. Because now you know he was only in it for the benefits, not the bond. Ladies, you got to stop giving away relationship privileges to men who haven't even qualified. It's like handing out diplomas to students who never showed up to class. Make him show up. Make him study you. Make him invest. Not out of manipulation, but out of mutual respect. When you treat yourself like the prize, a man who's serious will show you that he's ready to win you. It's not about being hard to get. It's about being hard to forget. And the way you do that is by making sure that access to you requires intention, not just interest. Don't confuse attention for commitment. Don't let chemistry override clarity. The man for you will want to lock it down, not just enjoy the benefits. Let me tell you something that women overlook way too often. Men test patience. And I ain't talking about him being patient. I'm talking about your patience. Can you say no and mean it? Can you stand on your boundaries even when you really like him? Because I promise you, that's where a man figures out what kind of woman you are. That's when he sees what you're really made of. See, every man knows there's a moment when he's going to test the waters. Not always on purpose, but it happens. Maybe it's physical. He tries to take it there on the second date. Maybe it's emotional. He starts pulling back to see how you'll react. Maybe it's about control. He wants to move fast and skip the whole getting to know you part. That's where the patience test comes in. What he's watching for is simple. Will you stick to your word or will you fold? Now listen, this ain't about playing hard to get. That's a game. This is about being clear about your values and not moving off them just because you're scared of losing the man. Because let me let you in on a little secret, baby. If your no makes him leave, then he was never going to stay anyway. A man who's serious about you, a man who sees real value in you, he's not going to run just because you didn't jump when they said jump. He might get quiet. He might pull back for a minute. But if he respects you, he'll adjust. He'll slow down. He'll figure out how to earn his way in. The problem is too many women think that saying no is going to push a man away. You tell yourself, if I don't sleep with him soon, he'll lose interest. If I don't let him move in, he'll go find someone who will. If I don't act cool with this whole situationship, he'll think I'm too much. That's the fear talking. That's not intuition. That's insecurity. And let me tell you what fear does. It makes you compromise. It makes you rush. It makes you say yes when your soul is screaming no. And every time you do that, you chip away at your own self-respect. Here's how a man's mind works. If you don't require anything from me, I'll give you exactly that, nothing. Not because I'm evil, but because you didn't set the tone. You didn't say, this is how I want to be loved. You didn't say, this is how I expect to be treated. Instead, you stayed silent, and I filled in the blanks with what was convenient for me. That's what the patience test is about. It's about how well you can hold your ground when your heart wants to jump ahead. It's about whether you believe that what's for you won't leave just because you said not yet. And let's be real, it's hard when you're vibing with a man, when you feel that chemistry, when he's fine, charming, texting you good morning and good night. It's hard to slow things down. It's hard to wait, especially when the world is telling you, girl, if you don't lock that in, someone else will. But here's the thing. A woman who can pause the emotions, check herself, and still lead with purpose instead of pressure, she stands out. That woman commands respect. And that woman passes the test. You got to understand, real relationships ain't built off momentum. They're built off foundation. And that foundation takes time. You can't skip the process. You can't microwave intimacy and expect it to last. You want a forever love? Then act like you're building something that's supposed to last forever. That means asking hard questions. That means saying, I want to wait. That means not just listening to what a man says, but watching how he responds when he doesn't get his way. Let me tell you something. The wrong man will punish you for saying no. He'll guilt trip you. He'll make you feel like you're losing something by protecting your standards. But the right man will step back and say, I respect that. He might be surprised at first because he's not used to it, but he'll adjust his pace to match your worth. Because a man who wants to be with you long term isn't afraid of waiting time with the wrong woman. And when you show him that you're a woman of depth, discipline, and dignity, he sees you differently. You go from another option to the option. Let me break it down even more. Saying no is not rejection, it's direction. It tells a man, this is the route if you want to ride with me. And if he turns off the engine and walks away, let him. That's not a loss. That's clarity. He just saved you months, maybe years of pain. He wasn't ready for a woman like you, and you weren't created to be a temporary fix for a man who hasn't even fixed himself yet. So the next time you're in that situation where you feel the pressure to go along with something you're not ready for, pause, breathe. Ask yourself, is this aligned with what I said I wanted? Because if the answer is no, you already know what to do. And if he walks because of that decision, don't chase him. Stand still, because something better, something built for you is on its way. Let me tell you something a lot of people don't want to admit out loud. A man will test you not just with time or attention or physical boundaries. He will test you with pressure. He wants to know how you respond when you feel like you might lose him. Will you fold? Will you chase him? Will you break your own rules just to keep him around? That's what I call the pressure test. And believe me, it's a test most women don't even know they're taking until they fail it. See, men understand this dynamic real well. Pressure reveals truth. When a man starts acting distant, taking longer to reply, showing less effort, changing the tone, or becoming inconsistent, a lot of women panic. And that panic, that's when we see who you really are. Are you going to keep your standards, or are you going to lower them just to feel secure again? Are you going to stay grounded, or are you going to beg for crumbs? Now look, I'm not saying every man is out here trying to manipulate you. I'm saying a man will observe how you behave when he applies a little discomfort, when he pulls back a bit, when he stops doing all that sweet talking, when he doesn't show you the same attention he gave you at the start. And the moment you start chasing him, rearranging your schedule for him, doubting yourself just to fix the vibe, you failed the test. The pressure test is all about this. Can you stay in your power even when you feel like you're losing control? Because the truth is, if a man sees you crumble under that pressure, he knows he can manipulate the game from then on. You've shown him that you'll do anything to keep the peace, and let me tell you, once a man knows that, the respect starts fading, slowly, silently, but surely. And the moment a man stops respecting you, you're no longer his priority. You become an option. Now listen, it's natural to want answers when someone pulls away. You care, you're invested, you're human, but the mistake too many women make is trying to force closeness through pressure. What's wrong? Are we okay? Did I do something? Why aren't you texting me back? And while your heart might be in the right place, what you're really doing is teaching him, you can mess with my mind and I'll still chase you. You're teaching him you can withdraw love and I'll try harder to earn it. Let me tell you something. Real love does not operate on fear. A man who's serious about you isn't going to play games just to watch how you react. But if you let a man think he's the prize when you are the one with the standards, the heart, the vision, then he will treat you like the contestant. That's why the pressure test is so powerful. It shows him whether or not he can lead you with inconsistency. A woman who passes the pressure test does something different. She doesn't chase, she doesn't beg, she observes. She says, okay, I noticed the shift, I see the energy changed, let me step back too. Not as a game, not out of spite, but because she's not going to give 100% to someone giving her 20. She knows that her peace is more valuable than forcing a man to act right. That's a woman who understands her worth. You've got to stop letting men feel like they can train you, because that's exactly what's happening when you react emotionally to pressure. He ghosts you for a day and you blow up his phone. He now knows exactly how to keep you off balance. He gives you mixed signals and you respond with over-explaining, pleading, or proving yourself. He now knows that confusion gives him control. Stop giving him the blueprint to manipulate you. Instead, you need to respond with calm, with confidence, with distance if needed. Because here's the thing, when a man knows you can walk away at any moment without a show, without drama, without begging, he steps differently. He realizes he can't just drop breadcrumbs and expect you to follow. He has to show up consistently or risk losing a woman who's not afraid to be alone. You teach people how to treat you. Every time you accept inconsistency, you lower your standard. Every time you justify mistreatment, you send a message, I'll tolerate this. And over time, those small compromises stack up. Before you know it, you're in a full-blown situation where you're giving love, loyalty, and energy and getting excuses in return. Let me give you a truth bomb. The right man won't make you feel anxious. He won't play with your mind just to see how you react. He won't use silence as a weapon. And he sure as hell won't test your loyalty by being disloyal himself. If you're always guessing, always stressing, always hoping he gets back to who he used to be, that ain't your man. That's a man who passed his test and now he's running the show. And if the only way to keep him is by sacrificing your peace, your self-respect, and your standards, then you already lost. The pressure test is real, and how you handle it tells a man everything he needs to know. So the next time the pressure comes, and it will, don't fold, don't chase, don't explain yourself to someone who's going silent. Stand still, speak less, match energy. And remember, your silence under pressure is louder than any words you could ever say.